I think Shortstop is a pretty fun weapon. Is it just me? Probably it's just me. Like, it's not great, but I will lie if it wasn't a neat Sidegrade. So here's a fun fact. Originally I was going to trash this weapon for being bad, like it's faultless to use, boo. But after playing a bit more with it off screen and having to record new gameplay because I needed more space for my 2K special, which you also watch as I put a lot of time into it, and who knows, you might want to pick up Engineer and hate your life when there are like 50,000 spies on the enemy team. But other than that, I have to say it's quite a fun weapon to use. As with all my weapon videos, I will go over the stats and then explain my talks and uses for this weapon. So let's start with the funny numbers. This stat base doesn't really tell how different this weapon is, so Wiki luckily can help me out here. You only have 4 shells, it fires 60% less pellets and does not have the damage ramp up from all of other scouts' primaries. But it fires 40% faster, is more accurate and deals twice as much damage per pellet, but you still have a lower base damage overall. The weapon also reloads its entire clip, and then you have the shove, which pushes enemies back and you take 20% more knockback when taking damage and air blast. Usually TF2 weapons are quite simple to explain, but Shortstop is this weird exception where its real functionality isn't even told in game. But that out of the way, I want to mention its pretty interesting history. When the weapon was added with the special delivery set, this was one of the rare cases of pay to win mechanics where if you had Milkman, Holy Mackerel, Mad Milk and Shortstop equipped, you gained 25 plus max HP. And this was blatant pay to win as you needed to either fork out some cash to get the hat or rely on RNG with crafting. Shortstop was at the time a pretty good weapon as it used to reload 50% faster, but it was then nerfed to reload slower at Maniversary update. But after the July 10, 2013 patch, this item set bonus was removed, but Shortstop received a buff which you get it 20% more HP when it's deployed, but you will be flying with its 80% vulnerability to all push forces when you equip it. But over the years the weapon was tweaked more, like reducing the knockback to 40% to 20%, no longer using secondary ammo, and so came the Meteor Match update that removed the healing bonus and added the pointless shove mechanic. So let's talk about the actual weapon. It's not great, but man, I will be lying if I said it if I didn't like it. It's like a reverse scattergun where instead of wanting to be the breathing distance with your opponents, you want a healthy distance to be more effective at. Funnily enough, your biggest enemy while using Shortstop is your muscle memory. I just struggle to fight the urge to go closer to the enemy because the weapon has a much tighter spread, it's easy to miss your shots. But once you get over it, this weapon is quite fun. Sure, stock will always be better and soda popper will always be the most fun option, but I like how this weapon gives Scout more different ways to play his class. You don't necessarily need to go hug the enemy team to deal damage, but can pepper them at a healthy distance. It deals quite nice damage at medium range, but while you do deal a lot of damage, I kind of struggle to finish off the enemies. I don't know if it's because of the overall lower damage output or the fact that I use suck, but it felt like enemies survived a lot more compared to me using something like soda popper. And I have found that the reload speed is really awful because it takes you 1.5 seconds to reload your clip, and this has really fried my muscle memory as using soda it takes you around 1.25 seconds to reload, and when I switch back to this weapon, oops, it's still reloading and now I'm dead. But that shove, oof. Most likely the most pointless mechanic in any weapon, as you need to be up in their face to use it, it only deals 1 damage, and when you do manage to shove them, it's so pitiful that you're better off not to try to push them. But hey, it's quite good to bully friendlies with, as it takes ages to even kill them with it, so if you want to help some Hoovy to go faster or better yet, corner them, this is a good choice. So before I give some balance ideas, I want to go over some of the best secondaries you can use with it. While using something like a pistol is a good choice if you have a bad aim and need to finish the enemy off, I think it's quite boring, as I have found Criticola to be the most fun option. You deal more damage and don't need to risk yourself too much with the mark for death mechanic, and it's so satisfying seeing enemies panic when extra salty peppers are shot their way. Is it better than normal scout gameplay? No, but goddamn I will lie if I find some satisfaction with it. I also like how the weapon looks and sounds, it's very crunchy. But in order to make this weapon worth using more often, here's what I will do. I would at least make the reload faster, maybe around 25% so it matches soda popper speed. Then replace the shove mechanic with that extra healing and remove the extra pushback as it's pretty pointless. I don't really think the weapon needs anything crazy to be viable, just make it slightly better to use and give it some nice perk instead of that dumb shove. Just using this unlock brings me back to the days when I first started playing this game, and I always liked this weapon. It's kind of funny how it took me switching mains to realize this weapon isn't totally worthless to use and you can have fun with weapons that aren't competitively viable. Because at the end of the day, TF2 is a video game and having fun is also important than constantly dominating a server with the best option available. Anyway, thank you for watching, do leave a like if you enjoyed this video, comment your thoughts about Shortstop down below and have a nice day.